I think I was too young to have experienced this horrible incident, as this still remains in my memory until today. It was 4 summers ago when I made up my mind to start driving for a taxi company in Chicago. Even though I realized instantly that the money I will be getting isn't worth the stress. Well, I still thought it could be fun to meet and chat with new people each night I drive, because I did most of my driving on the weekend. On a Saturday night, I got my first request a few kilometers away from my house. With joy, I quickly drove there, and a beautiful lady called Jenny hopped into the back of my SUV. The destination address of this lady appeared to be located at Maywood, which happens to be one of the highest crime suburbs. Then I was thinking in my mind, like, what could a beautiful lady like this be going to do in Maywood at this time? Well, we had good conversations, and then I got to know that she was probably going to her boyfriend's. After 5 minutes drive, she asked me to stop because she wanted to buy something. As she came back to the car, I noticed that she bought some medicines. Well, that really was not my business. Afterwards, she asked me for a deal, that if I would always be available to take her to her boyfriend's every Saturday night and return her back home on Sunday morning, this would be a deal for a month. So as a student that I was, I just wanted to do driving in my free time. So this is actually perfect for me because I was always free on Saturday and Sunday. However, I obliged to her deal without much thinking. Her boyfriend was waiting for her outside. He looked irresponsible with a bottle of alcohol in his left hand and marijuana in his right hand. Well, I thought to myself, love is crazy. She got down out of the car and I drove off. On Sunday morning, I got dressed up to go pick up Jenny from her boyfriend at Maywood. After 10 minutes drive, I reached the front of the house, so I put a call through. Her phone rang for a complete 3 times without answer. Then I decided to go out of the car to knock on the door. As I got to the door, I could see traces of blood on the floor under the front door. I was shocked and moved to the window side. What I saw got me scared. Jenny had been stabbed multiple times in the neck and stomach, and the boyfriend I saw last night with her, sitting there alone, smoking. I quickly rushed to my car as I did not want him to see me. I made a call to the police. Within 2 minutes, police arrived. The door was broken down and Jenny's boyfriend was apprehended. 3 days after, it was reported that the guy had developed a psychological problem. Now I remembered the medicine bought by Jenny was antidepressant medicine. While driving home from the scene, I could not believe that Jenny, that sat inside my car last night, was already a dead soul. It was horrible to have experienced this. I stopped driving taxi ever since then. If someone else told me this story, I would have said it's a fiction or lie. But what happened to me that night was a lifetime experience and too creepy for me to forget, even after 5 years. Well, before this story begins, kindly subscribe to this channel for more life experience horror stories. If you have subscribed, you are the best. Okay, my normal working hours was between 8 a.m. in the morning until 8 p.m. in the night. Although, I usually had a big break when the food ordering is quiet, so I would visit my wife and 2 kids back home to have a good time with them before I go back to work. At the time of this incident, I was living in a 2-room apartment in one of the Eastern European countries with my family. My kids, Larry and Miko, were growing so fast, and we needed to change our apartment to 3 rooms because the kids were getting due to have their own private rooms. By this time, I had instructed my wife to keep her eyes on various websites where we can find a new spacious apartment. Due to this, I had to double my hustle. I increased my delivery working time with an extra 2 hours since I needed more money to be able to afford the new apartment. Anyway, there comes Friday. I woke up around 6 a.m. in the morning to clean up my minivan and get it warmed up. Of course, I needed to drop Larry and Miko to school by 8 a.m. I entered my room and got dressed up for the day. After dropping my kids off at school, I made myself available online to start delivering food. Fast forward to 6 p.m. I realized that it was not a lucky day, as I have not earned as much money as I expected for Friday. Well, by 10 p.m., I began to drive back home. As I got home, I brought out my phone to go offline. Then I received a phone call from customer support. "Hey, Alan, how are you doing? I'm good, I replied. Could you help us to pick up a pizza from Luddy Pizza Shop? We are sorry. You are the only one we could still see online that is close to the place. We will compensate you for this. The customer had promised to compensate you for this as well. So it's gonna be good for you. Okay, no problem. I'm gonna pick it up, I replied. I ended the call. Since I was already home, I told my wife about this, but she is very angry that it's late to drive 5 kilometers to pick up pizza. Well, I told her that I never earned good money for the day, so it's an opportunity for me to make up the money for my usual Friday. My wife obliged, as she had nothing to do again because I already told the customer support that I will pick up the pizza. I started driving around 11:42 p.m. to Luddy Pizza Shop. It was all quiet. I never came across any car on the road. After 7 minutes, I arrived at the pizza shop. Hey, mister, we have been waiting on you to pick up the pizza. We should have closed, but only waiting for you, the pizza man said. I picked up 25 pizzas. It was much. I thought to myself, why is this pizza so much like this? Well, it's Friday. They could be doing a party. I started the trip to the drop-off address. After 10 minutes, I arrived at the address. This lonely house is located in a far outskirt of the town. I got down out of my car, then rang the doorbell. The door was open. Come in, someone said. I entered, but to my surprise, before I looked back, the door was closed instantly. A huge guy came out of the inner room and collected the whole pizza bag and my phone from me. From behind me, 2 guys forcefully held my hands. Before I knew it, I was tied up in a chair inside a room where I found over 10 dying people on the floor. Thanks for bringing the food for our pets. But you are now one of them, the huge guy said. I was panicking and shivering. 2 minutes later, an old man came out with a knife. He called number 7. The other 2 guys held the number 7 tightly again, and he was slaughtered in front of me. I was shouting and scared. No one has ever been killed in front of my eyes before. While I was shouting, my phone rang in the hand of the giant guy. Maybe he mistakenly picked the call. I don't know, but he threw away the phone. I was dragged and locked inside a separate room. I was given 1 pizza to eat. 20 minutes later, I was hearing a police siren. Lo and behold, police entered the building and arrested the culprits. I had no idea of how the police came to the place, but I got to know that my son Larry had called the police to tell them that I was in danger because he was the one calling my phone when it was thrown away. The police had tracked my GPS to locate the house.